everyone. My name is Fareen. I am currently a D1 at the University of the Pacific Arthur A. Dugoni School of Dentistry here in San Francisco, California. I was actually born and raised here in California, a few hours away though. I am from a really small town in Central California, kind of near like Fresno, Bakersfield. It's in the middle of nowhere, but born and raised there, and then I moved to Davis, California for undergrad. So I went to UC Davis for 4 years, and then I graduated in 2018. And then after I went to Davis, I started a post-bac program in the East Bay area. So I started PHAP. I think PHAP stands for Pre-Health Academic Professions Program, something like that. But I started the PHAP program, which is the post-bac at Cal State East Bay in Hayward, California. So from San Francisco, it's only like 20 minutes away. But it's a great program. And then, 2018 graduated Davis, and then had my couple gap years where I did my post-bac, and now started UOP in 2021. And some extracurricular activities that I was involved in while I was at Davis includes a couple like ethnic cultural clubs, such as like Pakistani Student Association or like Muslim Student Association. I did something called Oral Health Society, where we, like my club, we spoke about oral health education to little elementary school kids. I also did a bunch of things like swim club or tennis club. And then I also was, one of my favorite extracurricular activities actually was when I was a resident advisor. So I lived in the dorms with all of the freshmen when I was a second year. So the way I actually got introduced to dentistry was very non-traditional. So when I moved from my hometown to Davis, I was super homesick. I did not really adjust very well to being at home versus going to college. So it was a rough transition for me. And I remember when I was in high school, or back when I was, in my hometown, I used to babysit this one girl, and I used to love being around her. She was everything, and I used to just enjoy spending all my time with her. And so when I went to college, I remember being super depressed about, not being able to see her or see her grow up a little bit, and just, I really missed being around her. So I really wanted to get involved in a club where we worked with children. So just because I was missing this girl I used to babysit at home, I joined Oral Health Society, which is a club where we speak about oral health to elementary school kids, teach them how to properly brush, properly floss, etc. I just thought it was a really cool club. Oh my God, cool. I get to hang out with elementary school kids. Hopefully that'll help me be a little less homesick. And then that's how I got introduced to dentistry, actually. It was literally just a club on how to teach kids how to floss and brush their teeth. And then once I got introduced to dentistry as a career path, I started shadowing, I started attending pre-dental events. And once I did that, I kind of realized that dentistry was the path for me. So when I look back at my DAT experience, I think of all the things that I did wrong. And I tell all these pre-dents, don't do what I did. So I never had a good sleep schedule. I was constantly stressed. I rarely ever talked to my family or had a good support system. I, did not exercise, and I didn't really take actually any breaks. So I was definitely very overwhelmed, and I think it was my first time studying for an exam as overwhelming as the DAT. So I wasn't really sure what to do, but it all worked out for me in the end. I ended up getting a 19 on my DAT. I actually have my score report right here. So it's right here. I got in perceptual ability, so PAT, I got an 18. QR, math, I got a 19. Reading comp, 21. Bio, 17. Gen Chem, 19. OChem, 19. which led to my total science being an 18 and my academic average being a 19. So wouldn't say it's the best score you've ever seen in your life, but it worked out for me. But I honestly used DAT bootcamp. That was like the only thing that I did. I do think that DAT Destroyer is an option. I personally never used it because I don't think I had the self-confidence or like the grit to get through that. But I do recommend DAT bootcamp a lot. And I studied for 3 months. So I studied from, I graduated Davis in September of 2018. And then from October 2018 to December 2018. So for 3 months, I studied for the DAT. And then once I took my DAT, that January 2019, like that following year, is when I started my post-bac. So I actually recommend if you're gonna take your DAT, take it after your master's or your post-bac or something, because you'll realize that there's a lot of overlap in the material. And I just really recommend to take breaks, study as much as you can, but don't burn out. Don't do what I did where you didn't have a set study schedule. You can find everything on DAT Bootcamp. Ari's schedule is pretty helpful too. So when I applied to dental school, I ended up applying to 25 schools. I know that's a crazy amount, but I just figured I'm only going to apply to dental school once, and if I'm going to cast my net wide. So I ended up applying to 25 dental schools. I also have like crazy imposter syndrome. But out of those 25 schools that I applied to, I heard back from 7 of them. So those schools were Boston University, University of New England, University of Utah, UOP, which is the school I go to now, ASDO, like AT Stills in Arizona, and then Midwestern Arizona, and Nova Southeastern in Florida. So out of all of those schools, I ended up getting into all of them, except I got waitlisted at Nova in Florida. So 6 acceptances and 1 waitlist. Wasn't too bad. But I think the biggest thing that honestly set me out from the crowd was my personal statement, which I kind of made like a story and made it very personable. I really recommend this book. It's called 50 Best Dental School Essays. I don't remember the exact name of it, but I swear it's on the link tree on my Instagram. So I'll link my Instagram in the bio below in the description. But definitely recommend that book because that really changed my perspective on my personal statement. And then also I definitely networked with those schools. I used to go to post-bac like 2 hour and a half from here. So when I would come to the Bay, I would come and check out San Francisco, and I would come visit UOP and their pre-dental events. I went to the UC Davis pre-health conference where I got to speak with a rep from ASDO and a rep from Midwestern. I also got to speak to a Boston University rep, and he was actually the dean of admissions. I thought he was a rep, and then he ended up being the dean of admissions, and I'm pretty sure he's the only reason why I got into BU. So I definitely recommend networking at any events, whether it's any Zoom events that an admissions panel is putting on, the UC Davis pre-health conference, any sort of these things, they will help, and they will help get your name out there. So I definitely did that with UOP. I did do some pre-dental events with UCSF, ASDO, Midwestern, BU. A lot of those schools I definitely went out of my way for to try to show them that I was interested in their school, so that when my application came, they would recognize my name and be like, oh, that's Fareen's application. We remember her. All of my interviews were non-traditional because I applied, in 2020, and that was during the peak pandemic. So during the 2020-2021 application cycle, all my interviews were virtual. So I actually really liked it. It was a lot more relaxed. I'm a little bummed I couldn't, go and see the school and get that like full interview experience, but all of my interviews were virtual. But specifically for UOP, my interview was a 2-day interview. I don't know if they're still doing that anymore. I don't think they are, but we had one day where it was a lot of info sessions. They had faculty come and speak. A lot of it was very relaxed. That, you know, they had nice presentations, they had a student panel. It was really great and very relaxed. But then the second day, I still remember it. It was February 1st and February 2nd of 2021. So for the February 2nd day, like the second day of my interviews, I had one faculty interview and then one student interview. So faculty interview was like an hour long, and then student interview was 30 minutes. And then in my faculty interview, it was so relaxed. It was so incredibly relaxed. We literally just talked about all of my interests and hobbies. And, you know, I remember my interviewer being like, I see who you are on paper. I just want to get to know your personality. So I talked about like movies I liked and, you know, Netflix shows that I'm watching in quarantine, you know, things like that. And then my student interview was also very, very relaxing. It was open file, and I, you know, even sometimes see my student interview around and we say hello to each other. So it was very relaxed. UOP is known to have a very high acceptance rate if you get an interview. So I honestly didn't even prepare that much. I just knew it was going to be a conversation. For some interview tips, I really recommend practicing in the shower. I know that sounds so strange. A lot of people say practice in the mirror, but I didn't like making eye contact with myself. Like, I wanted to practice more my flow of words. So when I was in the shower and just doing my whole body care routine, I would like think, you know, why do I want to go to, for example, UOP? And then I would, you know, pretend somebody was asking me that, and I would be like, well, the reason why I want to go to UOP is X, Y, and Z reasons. So, and then if I didn't like my flow, while I was literally shampooing my hair, I would stop and I would be like, okay, rewind, say it again, and make sure it comes, you know, secondhand to you. Like, it's got to be natural. So I think the more I practiced in the shower, it honestly helped, because it's just, you start getting these like flow of sentences right, and you start knowing the way you want to sound. And then when I had practiced in the shower enough, it became very natural for me during my interviews. I also just recommend relaxing during your interviews. They've already seen what you are on paper. They see your, you know, grades. They see your DAT score. They just want to know your personality at this point. Like, they just want to see how you are as a person, and if you're empathetic and caring, and if you're just a fun person to hang out with. They just want to know if you're friendly and if you can really have that empathetic, you know, doctor-patient connection. So that's how I would recommend for preparing for interviews, but every interview style is different. Even for MMIs, I would say practice looking up some MMI prompts online. You know, ask friends who go to that school, like specifically whichever school you're interviewing at. Ask them for maybe some advice about how their interview went. And then honestly, I would really, really, really just try to focus on your speaking skills and doing it in the shower. The big question is, why did I choose UOP? So I am from California, so that definitely does help a lot. But, you know, despite the fact that I think UOP can be very difficult, I do think that I made the right choice and it was the right school for me. There are a lot of reasons why I love UOP. I love that we're a 3-year program. One of the best pieces of advice I ever heard while I was a pre-dent was, quote unquote, this isn't from me, but somebody had said, dental school is not fun wherever you go. Like, dental school sucks wherever you go. So you might as well go to a 3-year program rather than a 4-year program. So I was like, you know, I mean, valid. So I like how UOP is accelerated, although it does make it difficult. I do like that because I do get out a year earlier. I love San Francisco. I love this city. I went to post-bac again, like only an hour away from here. So I find this place very homey to me. I love the faculty at UOP. I feel like people here genuinely do care about you. I do feel pretty well supported while I'm here, and I like that UOP also is very well known for their hand skills. We have insane clinical standards in SimLab. In SimLab, they are so tough on us. If you're off by 1 millimeter, it's an automatic fail. So I actually really like that because I think it makes our work look really, really good. Like, we are top notch in clinical skills. And I love how UOP has a great alumni network. A lot of people, when they find out, oh, you go to UOP, it's like such a big deal. Like the Dugoni family, it's huge, it runs deep, and I really, really love that. And then the last thing I really love about UOP is the state of art facility. Everything is brand new. If any of you guys ever come to San Francisco and want a tour of what UOP is like, please message me on Instagram. I'd be more than happy to show you around. But we have like the cleanest, nicest, best facilities out there. Our literal handpieces are not driven by like the actual like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, basically, I'm just gonna post on Instagram, but we use like these iPods to like control the RPMs of our like handpieces. We don't even use the like the actual motor itself. Like, we use iPods to control our RPMs. How cool is that? So I love how new UOP is, and I love the school, and I love its program and its faculty and just everything about it. And of course, the beautiful city it's located in. The transition from being a pre-dental student to an actual dental student is something I'm still going through now. Like, I'm still struggling with that. Dental school is very hard. There is no denying it. And so, going from this pre-dental student who was getting a 4.0 in her post-bac to like a dental student who's now amongst so many other smart classmates, it's still really hard. I don't really think that I've got a full grasp on the transition yet. I'm still working through it. I honestly just take school day by day, or more like week by week, I guess, but just trying to keep my head up, trying to stay optimistic, trying to stay focused, and knowing that here at UOP, they want to see you succeed. They don't really want to see you fail. So I just try to transition into being a dental student by just honestly putting my head down and working as hard as I can. Because if I work hard, then I can't ever have any regrets, if that makes sense. So I'm still transitioning, but it's helpful to have like a great roommate, great friends, great class, and then really supportive parents, of course. So it's really hard to describe what a typical day in the life is as a UOP student, especially as like a first year student, because we are jam-packed busy, and it feels like a more accurate description would be like a week in the life, because we have so many classes from Monday to Friday. So, and we're not doing the same thing every day at all. So Mondays are like clinic days. We kind of like practice what we're gonna do with our future patients on Mondays, and we like practice it with our classmates. Tuesdays is like sim lab. Wednesdays is sim lab. Wednesdays we do indirect, and then Thursdays is also sim lab, and we do direct operative. And then Fridays are all dedicated to biomedical science classes. So like anatomy, head and neck, biochem, and physio, and all those, pathology, like those classes like that. So our weeks are very, very busy, but we basically start at 8 a.m. every day and end at 5 p.m. every day. So it does make it a little hard to prioritize your time, because we are just so incredibly busy. 8 to 5 is my whole school day. Then I come back like 5 to 6, kind of take a breather, relax, maybe like change out of my business casual clothes, which you have to wear business casual at UOP. Eat a snack, maybe make some dinner. And then I usually after that try to find time to study, or I go and practice in sim lab more. So, and then I'm there usually until 9 o'clock every day. And then I try to go to sleep by 10, but sometimes I can push it to midnight. So we're busy here at UOP a lot because, 3-year program, it's crazy to me that I only was in sim lab for a few months, and now they're going to have us see patients. That's insane. So fast. But I definitely think that after the first year, things start to slow down a bit. What honestly makes me excited about going to UOP is the fact that we are known to have the best hand skills. Like, I think UOP is very hard, very challenging. Like, I've continuously said this. Like, if you decide to come to UOP, be prepared for like difficult times. But I love the fact that like everybody who goes to UOP has like pride that they go to UOP. Like, we're proud to go to UOP. We are known to be like some of the best clinicians and like some to have the best hand skills. That is a testament to how great of a school this is. So I'm like excited to know that I go to like such a great dental school, such a well-renowned dental school with such a great alumni network, great faculty. That just makes me excited to know that I'm going to be a dentist with one of the best education I could have ever received. Honestly, my biggest piece of advice to pre-dental students is to not give up. I know that sounds so cliche and so cheesy, but I, did not have the best GPA and the best science GPA and the best, DAT. I applied to dental school with a 3.4 GPA, a 3.3 science, but when I graduated Davis, I had like a 2.8 or a 2.9 science GPA. I was able to raise it up to a 3.3 after I did 5 semesters of a post-bac. I had a 19 DAT. I don't think I had the greatest stats out there. I just think that I showed resilience and I showed that I wanted this. Like, I wanted schools to take a chance on me. I wanted them to know that I was serious about applying to dental school. I could have taken the easy way out and I could have, decided, hey, you know what? I don't want to do dental school anymore. Not because like I don't want to be a dentist, but because it's just too hard to get into dental school. No, I did not do that. I showed resilience. I showed grit. I showed that, hey man, I'm trying my best here and I really, really, really want this opportunity if you would take this chance on me. And I think it showed. I think it showed on my application how much I really wanted it. So if you really, really, really want to go to dental school and this is your dream, and if UOP is your dream, like, just show that you care. Like, show that you are willing to do whatever it takes, whether it means you need to retake your DAT, whether you need to take some classes at post-bac to show that you can handle, upper division rigorous science classes. If you need to work and volunteer at some dental offices, if you need to do such things, show that you care by putting in the time and effort. Think about it this way. The time is going to pass regardless, whether it's 1 year or 2 years from now. The question is, what are you going to be doing in that time? Are you going to be doing things to strengthen your application? Are you just going to be giving up? Are you going to be happy with your career if you don't pursue being a dentist? Think about those things. Try to be supportive of yourself because at the end of the day, this is what you want. And if you don't give up on your dreams, then people will see that and people will take a chance on you. I promise. All right, everyone, thank you so much. I hope I was able to answer all of your guys' questions. Please feel free to contact me. My Instagram username is @toothfareen. So TOOTHFAREEN. It's kind of like Tooth Fairy, but Tooth Fareen, like my name. So please feel free to message me there. I'm really active on there and I try to respond to everything. And if I don't, I promise I will get back to you. And if you ever find yourself here in the San Francisco area and would like a tour of UOP or anything of the sort, or if I could link you to any people or, help you in any way possible, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to. I remember what it was like to be a pre-dental, so I know what it's like to be in your shoes. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I definitely post about any pre-dental activities that are happening at UOP, any sort of networking, any sort of things that will help you pre-dental students in any way, shape, or form. So feel free to follow me, and I try to stay well connected with all you guys, and hopefully I can talk and see you guys soon. Bye.